is CBS4 News This Morning.
Right now at 5:30, Causeway closed. A water main break could be impacting your drive to work. A South Florida student getting a lot of attention for a homemade music video, including from Homeland Security, why they're investigating it as a school threat. And a live look outside where we're expecting some wet weather for the weekend as we watch a tropical system. 5:30 on this Friday, September 13th. So not very lucky with the forecast because it's going to be rainy, but I'm hanging on that word that you said, not a washout, right?
Right.
Which is
so I want to emphasize that because I don't want people to think this is going to be where we have to cancel
birthday parties.
No, although if your birthday party is outdoors, you may want to think about moving it indoors.
You can't take the pool inside.
Because even the tents, remember, it's going to be gusty at times, so you...
Bounce houses?
No, be careful with that.
Oh,
be careful with
we don't want to fly bounce house, please.
Make sure they're secured to the ground, and yeah, they could easily be picked up by wind gusts. All right, so here's a look at what potential tropical cyclone number 9 looks like. It's a long name, but it's not a depression just yet. The reason why it's given that name is in order for the issues of advisories and watches and warnings to be put in place, since it's already impacting the Bahamas. Located around 255 miles east-southeast of Freeport in Grand Bahama Island, with maximum sustained winds at 30 miles per hour. Remember, to become a tropical storm, the maximum sustained winds have to be at least 39 miles per hour and above that, which could happen, and it's a good chance, and that could happen as early as Saturday overnight as it moves over the northwestern Bahamas, and then the cone takes it out even closer to the Florida coast. Looks like it'll be an impact for the Treasure Coast and even the Space Coast, but it could stay offshore, could move closer to land or overland. This will continue on through Sunday, turning out away from the southeast coast by early next week. We'll talk about those impacts for here, South Florida, coming up. But first, we got to take a look at traffic. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Jennifer, and good morning, South Florida and Miami-Dade County. Now we'll check in with the morning ride along I-95, passing Opelika Boulevard. And so far, so good this morning in Miami-Dade. The roads are crash-free. However, in Sunny Isles, the Lehman Causeway is closed by that water main break. The east and westbound side will be shut down between Collins Avenue and US 1. Take 163rd Street as your best alternate. And in Broward County on I-95, this is at Cypress Creek Road, but just to the south at Commercial Boulevard. 2 right lanes are blocked on the southbound side, and that remains blocked by a multi-vehicle crash. There is a stop and go on the approach. That's a look at traffic. Ladies, back to you.
Chris, thank you. A traffic alert this morning. A water main break could be having a big impact on your morning commute. Yeah, repairs are going to be forcing drivers in Aventura to detour. CBS4's Riel Creighton joins us live from Aventura to explain. Riel.
Lauren and Maribel, this very definitely could be affecting your morning commute this morning. This is a major artery here, and both directions right now, the Lehman Causeway, have been shut down as crews work to fix what is a water main break that is just beyond West Country Club Drive. Right now, we understand the crews are on the scene. As of last night, they gave us an update and told us that it was going to be about 12 hours before this road was back open. But this is the picture we just received from an officer here on the scene. It shows you what they are dealing with, and now the officer is telling us that expect it to be an additional 12 hours before this road is back open. They're advising drivers to find an alternate route this morning, either Hollandale Beach Boulevard or 163rd. Again, that's for up to the next 12 hours. As far as the other impacts, they have no word on that this morning. That's the very latest here. We're live in Aventura. Riel Creighton, CBS4 This Morning.
Riel, thank you. Now here's a look at some of your other Friday morning headlines. New this morning, ESPN is reporting that Miami Dolphins defensive back Minkah Fitzpatrick has asked for and received permission to seek a trade from the team. According to the report, Fitzpatrick is unhappy playing multiple positions, and his agent is speaking with several teams. It also says that several teams are being resistant to the Dolphins' asking price, which would include a first-round pick. Fitzpatrick is former first-round pick, expected to play this Sunday against the New England Patriots. A report from the Broward Sheriff's Office says the mother of 2 young boys who drowned in a community pool wasn't sleeping like she initially told investigators. The report says the mother had been using her cell phone while her children were unsupervised and eventually drowned. The report also says the older boy drowned first and his younger brother drowned after he tried to save him. Their mother and her boyfriend are both charged with 2 counts of aggravated manslaughter of a child. Bahamian officials say the number of missing has dropped from 2,500 to 1,300. Meantime, Bahamian Prime Minister Hubert Minnis says they've now shifted to operations to recovery, stabilization, and restoration. He also announced a future National Day of Mourning would be held to pay tribute to the victims. In the meantime, crews are working to set up secure temporary housing and shelters in the disaster zone. The 10 Democratic candidates took to the stage in Houston for the third and most contentious debates thus far. The candidates sparred over hot-button issues like health care and immigration. Much of the attention was on former Vice President Joe Biden and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. It was the first time both were on the stage together. Biden is leading in the polls of all candidates, with Warren following closely behind.
This morning, a South Florida high school student is in some serious trouble after a homemade music video gets the attention of Homeland Security. The video appears to show the student threatening several local schools. CBS4's Hank Tester explains.
Legging with a white girl, Baywatch. I'ma keep shooting till the bullets all gone. I don't really care who say stop. There's 4 walking up and it's just me. Now it's just 3.
And I'm pretty sure it was probably just supposed to be like as comedy, but the way it was taken too far, it's taken way too far with the Stoneman Douglas.
The video is so disturbing that Miami-Dade police have turned the investigation over to their Homeland Security Bureau. The young person who appears in the video is wearing a Columbus High School shirt. Graphics appear in conjunction with gunshots that spell out the names of area high schools, including Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. And Thursday evening, this from Columbus High School. We have taken the proper disciplinary actions. Effective immediately, the student has been suspended pending a thorough investigation. The student made the music video using a popular app called TikTok, posted it online, but there might be trouble on the horizon. According to Florida Statute 836.10, which reads in part, any person who makes, posts, or transmits a threat in writing or other record to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism that would allow another person to view the threat commits a felony of the second degree. At this hour, no charges have been filed in this case. I'm Hank Tester, CBS4 This Morning.
The Broward Sheriff's Office plans to deliver bleeding control kits to Broward schools by November. Sheriff Gregory Toney says victims of active shooters often die more often from excessive bleeding rather than the injury itself.
We can mitigate even further loss of life if we would strategically place bleeding control stations or kits in large populous environments such as a cafeteria or maybe in the movies, or in this particular case and program in our schools.
Each kit contains bleeding control dressing, compressed gauzes, and other items and instructions to aid a trauma victim. BSO has purchased more than 8,000 kits and is planning to purchase 6,000 more, enough for every public and charter school in the county.
Google Earth helped crack a Palm Beach County cold case that is nearly 2 decades old. After a former resident zoomed in on his former Florida neighborhood using Google satellite images, they noticed a submerged car in a retention pond. The former resident contacted the current homeowner, who confirmed there was a white car inside the lake, which led deputies to find remains. A Palm Beach County Sheriff spokeswoman says the remains belong to William Molt, who disappeared in 1997. According to the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, Molt went missing after he went to a nightclub but did not appear intoxicated when he left alone.
5:38 right now, and first he went viral and then his t-shirt became a bestseller.
Now the boy who was bullied for his homemade University of Tennessee t-shirt may be getting the best offer of all. Details ahead.
She's not even a teenager, but one young middle school student is celebrating a major academic achievement. We'll see how she's making the grade next.
Good Friday morning, South Florida. We are tracking showers on the radar, but also tracking the tropics. That disturbance over the Bahamas is going to bring us some more rain throughout the weekend. I'll have those full details coming up.
Good morning, I'm Jim Berry. That's Bill Belichick. His Patriots coming here to take on the Dolphins, who hope to put up a better showing than they did last Sunday. More on that coming up.
And now here's a look at this morning's winning lottery numbers. CBS4 this Friday morning. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Hey there, South Florida. It's finally Friday, but it is windy. The winds are out of the northeast at 15 miles per hour right now, Pompano Beach. It really isn't that bad, but gusts do go up as high as 25 miles per hour so far this morning. Now, temperatures are starting off normal for some of us in the upper 70s. That's what's normal in Kendall and Homestead. But along the coast, we are starting off a bit mild. 81 degrees in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Also the low 80s down through the Keys. Here's a look at real-time Doppler. So we do have showers, as you can see, not everywhere. And by the way, these are quick movers. Zooming into Broward right now at the moment, it is mostly dry, just some light rainfall in the far end of Hollywood, but heavier showers moving over Aventura, Miami Gardens, and down into parts of the Gables as well. Also, showers and thunderstorms moving over the Florida Straits and actually just staying away from the Keys, but boaters, keep that in mind. Not only do we have a small craft advisory, but showers out there and thunderstorms will possibly produce some water spouts throughout today. Here's a look at the forecast model. In the next couple of hours, we'll expect those on and off showers to continue to roll off of that northeast breeze. As we head into Saturday morning, we could have some downpours early to start right along the coast, and then later Saturday afternoon, a few dotted spotty showers. Some will be light, some will be heavy, but notice it is not a complete washout. So we'll still get some sun trying to fight off the clouds. Otherwise, highs today 88 degrees because of the cloud cover and the rainfall. It's going to get hard to get into those low 90s. So what can we expect through the weekend? Disturbance that is over the Bahamas most likely will become a tropical depression and possibly tropical storm. Brief downpours, gusty winds for us here in South Florida, up to 30 miles per hour, and also small craft advisory, which is already in effect. Here's a look at that infrared satellite of potential tropical cyclone number 9. It will again upgrade possibly to a tropical storm by later on tonight into tomorrow as it moves over northwestern Bahamas and then closer to the Florida coast, wrapping around, moving towards the northeast direction early next week, possibly staying away from the southeast just offshore. As far as the rainfall amounts for us, look how low that is. These are quick moving showers, and most of the rain associated with this disturbance are on the north and east side of the system. That's why we're not expecting much rain, so don't cancel your plans by all means, but if your plans are to be outdoors, carry the rain gear with you. How are those roadways looking, Chris?
Looking pretty good right now, Jennifer. We're in Miami-Dade, and let's check in with the Palmetto Expressway at 122nd Street. Seeing a lot more company hitting the roads and gearing up for that morning ride. And it's a little misty in Miami-Dade right now, but so far the roads are crash-free. In Broward County, we're still going to find a crash on I-95 southbound at Commercial Boulevard. 2 right lanes are blocked, and we're still seeing some minor stop and go as you pass. That's a look at traffic. Ladies, back to you.
Chris, thank you. In News Across America, a 6th grader in Jackson, Mississippi earns an impressively high score on a standardized college entry exam. Last year, Kristen Rhodes' teacher encouraged her to test her smarts on the ACT exam, which covers 4 academic areas. The national average score is a 21, but Rhodes, who loves to study, was unfazed and scored a 27.
I'm pretty sure some of them actually study, but usually I'll write I usually write my notes, and after I write them, then I'm just good. I don't really have to go over them again.
She's good. Yes, she is. Rhodes says she plans on taking it again and aim for a higher score. She plans to attend MIT for college to work with computers, coding, and programming.
And a feel-good story just keeps on getting better. We previously told you about a Central Florida 4th grader who was bullied over his homemade University of Tennessee t-shirt. Now, after hearing the boy's story, the school sent him a whole bunch of swag and turned his design into an official t-shirt, which we know is selling now like crazy. But we've also learned the university is now also offering that boy a full ride to the University of Tennessee when he graduates from high school. Pretty cool.
And now, CBS4 Sports.
Good morning. The Dolphins Sunday hope to put up a much better showing than they did last week, but they've got a tall order taking on Tom Brady and the Patriots. Brian Flores knows this bunch all too well. Spent 15 years up there with New England. Last coached their defense. The Dolphins certainly didn't show any of the Patriot way as they got shellacked last Sunday by the Baltimore Ravens in that humiliating 59-10 loss. Meantime, the Patriots were handling the Steelers 33-3. Brian Flores says, yeah, he wants to build a winner here, but not a carbon copy of what he just left.
we're the Miami Dolphins, and we're trying to build something here. And each player's different. Each coach is different. I mean, how you coach different players, it's all different. So, to build something in the likeness of someone else, that's just not how it works.
High school football last night. Northwestern taking on Killian, and the Cougars jump that pass and get the nice interception. So Northwestern says, you know what, we'll just keep the ball on the ground. And that worked just fine. Here's Nathaniel Noel taking the handoff and taking it to the house. Had a huge hole there. Northwestern romps 48-13 in a game that was delayed quite a while by lightning. On to baseball. The Marlins in San Francisco tonight. Yesterday at Marlins Park, the Fries were tasty, and so was this pitch from Miguel Rojas against Milwaukee as he smacked this RBI single. But the Marlins got hurt by the long ball time and again against the Brewers. Ryan Braun hits one that just keeps carrying out of the park. That two-run shot ended up being the difference as the Marlins get swept by the Brewers 3-2 the final in this one.
I feel like a president of big company here.
New Panther goalie Sergei Bobrovsky is showing he's got a sense of humor at the team's media day. Alexander Barkov says, you know what, I'm the captain and I'm ready for this team to rock all the way into the Stanley Cup. That's what the Panthers have in mind. Made a lot of moves in the offseason. They start training camp today, and Barkov says this year they hope to silence all those critics. I'm Jim Barry, CBS4 Sports This Morning.
5:48 now. It's time for Talking with Joe. Joe Rose live from the 560 The Joe WQAM studios this morning. Joe, could we be beginning to see the exodus from the Dolphins here? Dolphins safety Minkah Fitzpatrick now demanding a trade. Are you surprised by this? The Dolphins apparently want a first-round pick in exchange for this first-round pick from back in 2018. Are you seeing this happening? Is this realistic here?
Well, I figured there's a chance it was going to happen. He was a little bit critical of the schemes that they're running defensively last week, and plus he talked about the defense didn't play well overall. I think it's a terrible look. I mean, this guy's a really good football player a year ago, and now he wants out of here. He's another young guy that was one of the better players on the team a year ago. It's really disappointing to be very nice about this on TV, especially on your show in the morning. But enough's enough, man. Make it work. Coach Flores, get together, make this thing work. I mean, it's not about running guys out. It's about keeping talented young players and getting the most out of them instead of, having their agents shop around and see if you can get a first-round pick back. You lose this guy's 11th overall pick. Tunsil, I mean, it just opens up more holes on this team. Everybody goes, oh, we got all these draft picks. They're all great. And I'm going, yeah, but you got more and more holes on this team. It's not good. We got good, like young, Swiss talented cheese, players Joe. At some point. Yeah.
It's
very, very disappointed. Yeah. I got to tell you, I didn't expect it to be like this, and I am not aboard on what is going on at all.
All right, but you mentioned that Brian Flores, the coach, the new head coach this season, needs to make it work, do something here. He spent 15 years in New England. Obviously, things working up there, reigning Super Bowl champions, and we are facing them. The Dolphins are facing them this coming weekend. He says that these are two different teams. They're run different ways. But, Ken, do you think that Flores could upset the world champions this coming Sunday, running things his own way and not the Patriot way?
In New England. It's a near... he just doesn't. Patriot way, no Patriot way. First of all, there's no Tom Brady and what they built up and what this thing is right now down here. It's going to be really, really hard to win this game. I mean, people are talking about the spread getting up by this weekend up to 20-plus points. So that's one of the highest points in the history of the NFL for a game, for a regular season game. So. It's not good. And I would just say this. I understand maybe Coach Flores at some point will be able to be more like Belichick, but Belichick has built up a resume to act and do the things. Plus, he had a home run on that quarterback that he's had for almost 20 years now, who's still playing at a high level. You can't just put that system in here and do everything overnight. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and that quarterback, not a first-round pick, so doesn't always turn out to be the best thing who you pick in that first round.
That's a nice 6th-round pick,
nowhere near the first round.
That's a nice
exactly.
Pick.
All right, Joe, we'll see. Maybe they'll pull off another
son of a
Miami
gun.
miracle. He's not too shabby. Joe, thanks so much. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Or we'll talk to you in the next hour. I'm skipping ahead.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you
talk
later.
to you 6. If you want to talk in the 6, we'll talk in the 6.
There
that sounds good. Thank you.
Bye, Joe. Getting ahead of myself.
5:52 now, and everything she does, from singing to dancing to acting, makes her one of the most talked about women in Hollywood.
And now our own Lisa Petrillo is getting to talk with Jennifer Lopez about her new movie, Hustlers. That story coming up at 6.
Now, CBS4 weather.
Tropical storm watches and warnings have been put into effect for parts of the east coast of Florida, but that's well to the north of us between Jupiter up to Daytona Beach. Meanwhile, back here at home, we're waking up to a few of these showers right now, moving over northern half of Miami-Dade County, West Miami up to Hialeah. You're getting some heavy rain, so take the rain gear with you. We'll be dealing with those gusty showers throughout the rest of today. Again tomorrow, highs in the upper 80s, but then more sunshine begins to slowly return Sunday, bringing us back into the low 90s. How are those roadways looking, Chris?
Well, Jennifer, we're in Broward County. We now take a southbound view of I-95 between Commercial Boulevard and Cypress Creek Road. We've been dealing with this crash since the beginning of our time together this morning. A southbound multi-vehicle crash still blocking 2 right lanes on scene at Commercial Boulevard. You can see the incident on the top left of your screen where the flashing lights are. Delays now are going back to Cypress Creek Road, and expect those delays to extend as the crash lingers. That's a look at traffic. Ladies, back to you.
Chris, thank you. This morning, a group of exceptional young men from South Florida will be waking up in the nation's capital.
About 50 students in 5,000 Role Models of Excellence project are in Washington, D.C., visiting the Congressional Black Caucus. They'll meet with legislators, engage in policy sessions, and take part in a weekend of learning and empowerment.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity. Not a lot of people my age get to do it, so I'm really glad to be able to learn something from it and be able to expand what I already know.
The role models will also get the chance to tour museums and historical sites in D.C.
What an amazing experience. Yeah.
5:57 now, and here's a look at what's coming up next on CBS4 This Morning at 6.
Causeway closed, a major South Florida roadway shut down in both directions because of a water main break. We're live with how it could affect your commute.
New this morning, rumors of Finns fleeing the team appear to be coming true. Reports say Minkah Fitzpatrick is asking for a trade.
But first, we're tracking the tropics, a disturbance we've been watching all week, continuing to develop this morning. Jennifer explains how it could affect us this weekend when CBS4 This Friday Morning returns.
CBS4 weather is sponsored locally by FPL. Storm season is here. Get ready at fpl.com/storm.